Well, this is a whole other kettle of fish altogether, which is great. I've gotten to know Marcel in the last few years. He and his wife, Anne, have a kind of an arts platform called The Corridor, and they've organised really interesting projects over the last few years, really around the theme of like the corridor being Dundalk, you know, in the borderland, and they're both from Germany and they've connected in with Cologne. Marcel loves Dundalk, and he's also a massive music fan and a regular attender of gigs in the Sphere Store. So it was lovely to get him in.
Rain obscures the things we take for granted. When deliberately out in it on a Sunday morning, the walker turns away from his compatriots, snug on sofas sipping tea under blankets, or still in a warm bed with a hangover, happy that the weather is soothing their throbbing heads. They will probably have a full fry-up for breakfast, if they leave the bed at all. As I venture into the rain, the smell of fried eggs and sausages is wafting over from one of the houses on Quay Street. The rain streaks along the street and into my eyes and beard, pattering against my rain jacket. It is a misty yet strong rain coming in from the sea and the river at the end of the road. There are one or two cars splashing by, and no other pedestrians at all. To my left are the buildings and silos of Dundalk Port, indicating yet unseen water. And to my right, the crumbling hulk of the Art Dealgan apartment complex from Celtic Tiger times, boarded up and with water running from smashed windows, its ochre walls smeared with coal dust and dirt. And then I passed the grey walls of Aiken Barracks, headquarters of the 27th Infantry Battalion of the Irish Defence Forces. It feels good to be out in the rain, dry underneath my jacket and hood. Past the barracks, at the end of the road, I turn left, past the rugby field and into a small car park, where I get a first glimpse of the river next to the path, along what is locally called Navy Bank.
So next up we have Emily Dupree. Have I said that right?
Dupree, I think.
Dupree.
I think Emily is like the heart of the Sea Legs. And I was so glad that she came down to do this piece. It speaks for itself, really. She's been learning like the harmonica over the years, so she plays stuff she's learning, and it's so inspiring. I love that, you know, like that's what it's for. She also does a lot of these songs a cappella, different songs that she likes in French and in English, and it's always incredibly moving.
À Dublin, fair city, où les filles sont si jolies, qui donc se souvient de Sweet Molly Malone? Elle poussait un vieux chariot du bas des rues jusqu'en haut, en proposant aux passants du lilas des roses, du lilas des roses, du lilas des roses, et puis sa fleur au petit bonheur à votre bon cœur. Comme le fit sa mère dans les mêmes rues hier, Molly vendait des fleurs de toutes les couleurs, mais de toutes les plus belles, qui se croyaient immortelles, c'était bien celles que les demoiselles cachent sous leurs dentelles. Du lilas des roses, du lilas des roses, et puis sa fleur au petit bonheur à votre bon cœur.
Next up we have Brian Cassidy.
He had a band years ago.
The Seasons.
The Seasons, yeah. They had a residency in Tolls. Those nights were amazing. I think Mickey McKenna and Sean Bradley and those, a whole load of them. Brian has come from time to time, and he always kind of brings the house down when he gets up and sings. Again, there's something really raw and authentic and human that I always find very touching.
On the backs of our good nature, a web has been weaved. Is there a way of getting through it? I have to believe we did not see it coming. It was like an earthquake in the night. Now it's taking control and there's nowhere to go. One more lie you keep on telling, one more lies, over one more lies. I need it, one more lie. It's hard to feel change, but it's coming. It's even harder to ignore the facts. Where we live in a world where trees more dead than alive, and the elephants have no feckin' chance. Would you like to say you're sorry and that you've altered the facts? As the dominoes fall, answer nature's call. It could be the last act. Just give me one more lie. I need it. One more lie. I'm sick of one more lies. You keep on telling one more lies. I need it. One more lies. I'm sick of one more lies. I want it. One more lie. I'm sick, sick, sick of all your lies.
So next up, we have all the way from Canada, the Dandelion Few.
I am so happy. I am so happy that we were able to get this. Tiffany George was instrumental in the Sea Legs open mic happening. She inspired it. She sang the first night, as did Sean Bradley, her other Dandelion Few, or whatever they're called. You know, when we were thinking about putting this together, it was like, we have to get them involved. And, you know, tentatively kind of asked them if it would be possible to record a piece that they could send to us to include. I was so moved when I saw this clip that they sent. It's such a gorgeous song. I'm just so happy that it's there.
There's a current that flows right through a heater in my room, expels the warmth with all that deep rich orange glow. The same current ran through my mother, oh, when I was in the womb, breathed life into my fingers and my toes. Whoa, baby, when you cry, you know I cannot sleep at night. Oh, my darling, there are wolves on these streets, and they'll keep you from the light. Oh, they'll keep you from the light.
You mentioned the next act earlier because they helped salvage some corrupted material from your laptop. Andrew Clark.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who really kind of embody the spirit of the Sea Legs, and Andrew is one of them. I know he took up piano kind of later in his life, not that you'd know it, and he's composing his own music, and it's phenomenal. I just wonder, does he realize how good he is? You know,
I actually briefly worked with Andrew. I did an internship in DKIT,
right?
And I was sort of part of like a communications office, so I was making little promotional videos, and part of it was working with Andrew on website stuff. Funny just having this perception of him as this sort of straight-laced IT guy, and then have him show up and display this whole other side of him, this really interesting, artistic, creative side.
What you've just described is, I love that. You know,
yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Next up, we have Terry O'Connor.
Terry has come down a couple of times, so it was lovely to get him along to do one of his poems. And it's something he wrote about now, so it was very much about a COVID poem. And it's just very moving.
When it began, I dreamed of faraway places, dozing on a train to Madrid as the sun came down, knowing in an hour I'm on the Paseo, drinking coffee and Spanish rum. Or that I'm walking in downtown Berlin, snow all around, schnapps in a scarf, chilly and missing you. That was the way it was before the world changed. I missed the near before the fear, before the social distance. I miss the hugs, the kiss on the cheek of greeting, that warm Irish grab by the arm saying, "Hi, you are loved." I miss friends whispering jokes in my ear over music in the spirit store and children blowing out candles at family birthday parties. As I live behind a mask, waiting for the world to heal, I miss, as I struggle to keep it real. Looking forward to tomorrows and hugs and smiles and coffees, realizing what I missed most was Dundalk and the familiar things. Market Square becomes my paseo, a cafe on Clanbrassil Street, sitting with my friends, cheek by jowl, without masks. A simple inclination of the head says 1,000 things. Hello and welcome. Living our lives together in the sun and the snow and the rain, without fear again.
I'm so glad that Ciara could come down. I mean, she did an old song from Omeath. It's just so beautiful listening to her sing and listening to that sean-nós style. It's another tone to the piece. It's another texture.
Siad mochid gauna gala Ian siad a feris hanol and siad an wanye Snawan siad an onis an aler a wana Is her valio alam traya kunan lan mara Vere mo wala den tagar fos me Is mo harna mala don wala we washo An a come wala hart the atlet me dus moike Aderin gere tawni is an gana gala sholu
Next up, we have Jennifer Green and Ronan Murphy.
Yeah, Jennifer's been coming down over the years and she's just got the most beautiful voice. When she said she'd come down with Ronan, I was like, great, because he has played with the Sweet Naive. They used to come down regularly and do all these amazing kind of cover versions of like songs that far too complicated for me to play anyway, you know, like Beach Boys songs and all that kind of stuff.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children away. The water, we guys gonna trouble the water. Yeah. Who's the young girl dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites, and God's gonna trouble the water. Yeah. Yeah.
So next up, we have the fantastic Sophie Coyle.
Sophie Coyle gave me my break in show business. Yeah, Sophie asked me to support her in 23 Seats when Sean Bradley used to run those gigs.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually first heard Sophie at a benefit for Mannix Flynn. He was going up for the Parliament elections, the Dáil elections in 2011. It was in the Sugar Club. I sang that night and Jinx did. I think they just started going out. So Jinx sort of introduced her and she got up and sang. And I thought it was amazing because she ended up nearly being the headliner because Christy Moore played, but he wanted to go on first.
Right.
So it was like, we all had to follow Christy Moore. There was something about her songs were just like really magical. And it's funny, she's a graphic designer and she designs gardens and stuff. And it's like, that kind of comes through, I think.
Something sounds so beautiful, spoken in a foreign tongue, one that you don't understand. But the words he used for me made me feel like I was sinking into quicksand. Idioma, idioma, yoma, yoma, yo. The woman at the football field pitched our tent, pointed at this man on which she used the words, "Unless we fail." But I didn't comprehend, so I didn't get the hint. Idioma, idioma, yoma, yoma, yo.
We used to do this before. It's a song by Low in the Drugs. Mimi Parker and Alan Sparhawk. You can't go too far wrong with names like that, can you? But they're just incredible, and that song I always find very touching, so we had a wee bash at it. I was a child. I was on fire, but I stayed alive while all else died. I held my breath. What could I say? And I closed my eyes like Marvin Gaye. And now I've had enough. It's in the drugs. It's in the drugs. It's in the drugs. Oh, it's in the drugs. It's in the drugs. Oh, it's in the drugs.
Mark, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to me. I've just found it really interesting hearing about all these acts. As I said, some I know and know well, some I didn't know at all. So it's been a great little introduction to the wealth of talent that's in our little town.
It's around every corner and it's on every street, and there's no end to it, it seems. Yeah, it's been lovely chatting to you, Tim. It makes me a little bit sad that we're not able to do it every month and meet all these amazing people, and also the people who come and listen, because that's key as well. So the whole thing is always a real joy, and so I guess it makes this whole piece even more special that we got an opportunity to capture what it's about, and it's lovely now that we'll always have a record of it, so which is great.